Now, our next guest is someone who is going to put, frankly, all of us to shame. Not just here in the studio, you as well. He's halfway through, nearly halfway through, an epic 7,000-mile walk around the country, raising money for a charity that brings free cancer patient transport nationwide. Brian Burnie is, a won't mind us saying, 74 years of old. Started his journey March last year, raising awareness for the Daft as a brush patient care charity, and he's here. Lovely to see you.
Good morning.
And after talking to you in the break and working out where you are from, the Daft as a brush phrase makes a bit more sense.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's from your neck of the woods, it must be said quite a lot.
No, it isn't actually. It's all over the world.
Is
my
it?
mum, because I'm a war baby, and my mum, when we lived in the East End of Newcastle, used to describe people as being as Daft brush who were nice and kind, etc. So I thought when we changed the charity's respective in 2010, I thought we'd just change the name. But it's been an interesting journey. As was this time yesterday, I was walking in North Wales. Now go and ask me, where would you rather be, walking in North Wales or in London?
Well, I tell you. Whereabouts in North Wales were you?
London, no.
Oh, beautiful.
It's an absolutely beautiful, and the footpath in Wales, because I've done 3,000 miles. I set off from Newcastle on the 5th of March last year, and actually on Tuesday gone we had an anniversary party, a pancake party on the promenade at London, and the mayor came along, etc.
Oh, lovely.
We had a really nice time. But people say, why do you do what I do?
Yes.
Well, yeah,
That's the big question, why?
well, you are what your parents are. And I and my family came from a very humble background, and it was quite something to do what I do. And yes, I became quite wealthy a few years ago, and in 2010, after being in business for about 40 or so years, I decided to give it all up and take a new avenue, and it's been truly remarkable.
What is remarkable is I mean, for anyone to embark on a journey that is 7,000 miles long and to tie yourself up for that amount of time. I mean, you must have a real passion for what, not only for the charity that you're raising money for, but for walking itself.
Well, I find walking quite relaxing, I have to confess. It's more difficult and more challenging than I thought, because it's not just the walking, it's what you do before and what you do after and each day, so it does sort of match up. But when I look back at my charitable work over the last 50 years, I mean, the biggest thing we ever did in the 1980s, we paid for a doctor at the Children's Heart Unit at the Freeman. And we did this, we did that. And in 2010, when we sold Oxford Hall, I decided to do something different, to provide free transport for cancer patients, and I never ever realised how essential it was. I knew it would be successful because I've been doing charitable work for 50 or so years, but what I hadn't been involved was working with volunteers. And in Newcastle we have over 350 volunteers,
wow.
5 paid staff who work their weight and goal, 4 trustees, etc. And they run the organisation when I'm not here, so it's quite simple.
So the walk's been quite eventful, hasn't it, for you?
Unbelievable, yes.
Tell us about some of the
I know you're
adventure
dying to
that's
know what happened in Skye.
Yes, we want to know what happened in Skye.
I got married, actually.
And
my
wife
isn't into television or media, so she's sitting downstairs, which is rather sad, because it is very much a team effort. And yes, last year we did 40 or so thousand patient journeys, but it's the team that do it, not Brian Burnie. It is very much a team. And I looked over my shoulder and thought, well, if we can do 40,000 patient journeys in the Newcastle area, why don't we take that nationwide?
Yeah.
And I always remember Reverend Martin Luther King had that classic line, didn't he? I have a dream. And my dream, with the aid of volunteers and the team, would be to create 1 million cancer patient journeys that aren't currently being done. It's feasible. Will probably involve using thousands of volunteers all over Great Britain Island. And people say it won't work because obviously only Geordies can do that. Well, Geordies can do it, and they are very good. And they've got a nice posh accent, haven't they? Yeah, but
hey, can't knock a Geordie. Never knock a Geordie.
But wherever you can, you're sure to find a Geordie. But no, it's true that there are people similar to those in the northeast of England all over Great Britain Island. Yeah. And the idea was to go on a walk just to raise awareness. And the response we've had from the hospital so far has been absolutely incredible. The medics in Newcastle, and I have to give them a plug here, the Freeman Hospital in Newcastle, we really are fortunate to have a world-class hospital. But there again, there are other world-class hospitals, other parts of Britain and England.
Brian, we hope you realise your dream. You've set yourself a task, but then you're used to a challenge, so we have every faith in you. Thank you so much for coming in to speak to us. Thank you.